The city never truly rests. It pulses beneath polished shoes and midnight street lamps. It breathes behind concrete and glass, speaks in pings and pop-ups, shouts in deadlines and unread messages. You move through crowds and yet you feel unseen. You live among millions, but the ache of loneliness clings to your skin like humidity. The individualism we embraced felt like self-reliance pushed to the point of loneliness. Our culture often prizes self-reliance like armor, but sometimes the cost feels like isolation. We chase productivity like purpose. We confuse exhaustion with accomplishment. And in this endless cycle of doing and becoming, we lose the art of being. Quietly, beneath all the noise, a question surfaces. What if we're not burnt out from work, but from performing who we think we're supposed to be? What if the escape we dream of isn't a destination, but a longing to come home to ourselves? We begin to wonder, guiltily, if life is passing us by, if we're missing something essential, something we can't name. I arrived in Ulaanbaatar, an echo of the same restless pulse. Cars honked, cafes buzzed. Life hurried by in crosswalks and corner stores. But as we drove, the city began to dissolve. From concrete to gravel, from apartment blocks to scattered yurts, from signal bars to silence. Until finally, all that remained was earth and sky. Out here in the countryside, there are no neon signs blinking urgency, no office towers stretching upward in silent competition, no meeting invites, no calendar reminders, only miles and miles of open land, and sky so vast, it feels like it could carry the weight of all your unspoken thoughts. The quiet didn't arrive all at once. It crept in slowly, like mist at dawn. And then one morning, as we rolled through another stretch of steppe, I realized the only sound was the soft groan of tires over grass and the rhythm of my own breath. There was no hum of electricity, no distant sirens, just wind, sometimes a shout, sometimes a sigh. And in the absence of noise, I began to hear something else. At first, it was just the beat of my own heart. Then the sharp edges of my thoughts, rushed, unfiltered, unmasked. And beneath that, a throb I didn't recognize, a dull ache rising from some forgotten depth. Grief, regret, the dreams I'd buried under someday. The ache grew louder, until it was undeniable. It started to hurt. Stillness doesn't soothe at first. It strips. It peels back everything we use to numb ourselves. Without noise, without schedules, without distraction, we come face to face with what we've spent years avoiding. We fear stillness because it forces us to confront unresolved emotions. And out here, where there's nowhere to hide, you finally meet yourself. Not the version curated for resumes and dinner parties, but the one you silence to survive. The childlike one, the fearful one, the one who still believes in wonder. And maybe, just maybe, that version still wants to be known. It was only after the silence settled in that I started to see just how big everything was. The sky stretched endlessly above. The land rolled on, as if the world had no edges. The world felt infinite, and I felt small. We stopped the car in the middle of nowhere. I stood there, soaked in blue and gold, holding all the weight I'd carried from the city. Deadlines, disappointments, fears that followed me like shadows. They felt massive in the city. Here, they were barely a whisper, a mere drop in the ocean of wind and grass. Perspective doesn't solve your problems, but it softens them. It puts them in their rightful place, next to a horizon that doesn't care how impressive your resume is. The vastness humbles you, not to make you feel small, but to remind you that your struggle, though valid, is not the whole universe. In the city, we speak of freedom like it's a finish line, the light at the end of the tunnel, the dream job, the summer home, the faraway life. But is Mongolia far enough? Is it empty enough? Quiet enough? And if it is, can you survive this much space, this much silence, this much you? Because space doesn't always comfort, silence doesn't always soothe, but presence, the kind that makes you feel your own heartbeat again, that changes everything. Mongolia didn't heal me. It just held up a mirror and walked away. The steppe gave no lessons. It simply showed me what was already there. The weight I'd mistaken for purpose. The hurry I'd called ambition. The self I'd buried under should. Mongolia is unforgiving. The wind lashes without reason. The sun burns, then vanishes. Winter will come, whether you're ready or not. Long, brutal, unapologetic. Mongolia will show you what you lack. Resilience, stillness, patience, and what you carry too much of. Clutter, guilt, haste. While you ponder, it moves on. It doesn't care if you witness its beauty, if you suffer its storms, or if you leave unchanged. It doesn't need your epiphany. It simply is. And in that indifference, there is unexpected grace. Because if the steppe doesn't care whether you're enough or not, then maybe you can stop proving that you are. Because when the wind brushes past the wounds you ignored, when the light shines through you, not just around you, you see that your fractures aren't flaws. They are where the light gets in. And that's when it starts. That's when healing begins. I thought I'd come to see the steppe, but the steppe had come to see me.